So you worked for the WWE, was it 2 different times in your career?
So I got signed back in like 2008. So I worked through in 2008, 2009, and their developmental league, which is, NXT now, but at that time it was called FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling. And I had to change my name to Chris Logan. Chris for Canyon, who I mentioned earlier, than Logan for Wolverine. It's a big Wolverine fan and the Cyberns. But I worked there, and then I got released, and then I got signed back, and then I got my contract rescinded, which was a whole nother issue and freaking ball game. But things ended up how they're supposed to, so can't complain.
Yeah, it's just one of those industries that you kind of have to go with the flow at times. You just
that's what it is. And actually, I was going back and forth with the my contract was coming up last year with AEW, and I was going back and forth with WWE and AEW with my agent, trying to see where we should fit. And there's pros and cons to both. And a big reason, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but like a big reason to stay with AEW was the fact that there was a lot more certainty, so to speak. Like, it's not necessarily a guarantee contract, but more like, for lack of a better term, the contract was essentially guaranteed compared to WWE's, which is, I mean, I could be signed there today, gone tomorrow. You know what I mean? So right. I thought about it, and I got a lengthy term with AEW as well. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Either way, I was like, professional. Like, we just had another kid too. My son's about 4.5 months old now, and I have 2 other kids. But I was just thinking, for not just professionally, but personally, I'm like, for the security, for the length of the contract, and comfortability as well. We're already there. Things, you're used to it. Like, I was like, yeah, if it's not broke, maybe don't fix it. And I was like, yeah, maybe it's best just to stay here and stay put, and to make the best out of it. And I do, going back to Tony being such a fan and such a good person and everything else, it plays a big role into that, and the way he takes care of his talent and treats his talent and thinks about his talent as actual human beings. Whereas, not to sound negative crap on WWE, and obviously, Paul, Triple H in charge of it now, is making a lot of changes, but for the longest time, it's kind of looked at as like you're almost just, cattle in WWE, and once they don't need you, they're like, all right, see you later, get the hell out of here, we don't need you. Where they don't really care as much. Whereas like AEW definitely seems like they're a more tight group and family. And like, if something was to happen, like, I mean, we've had a couple people pass while under contract, and Tony still paid off their contract to their family and is taking care of them and stuff, which is pretty unheard of.